Sports stars are the real heroes in today's society. To attain and retain hero status, athletes must navigate complicated waters. They have to excel at the sport they play, and that goes without saying. But they also have to come to terms with being role models for the people who admire them. Some of them are, most of the time anyway. But then there are the true delinquents, the stars that treat their fans like trash. When you think about Barry Bonds, you think about steroids. But the former baseball left fielder was also famous for being a total jerk to everyone. His hostility to the media was tangible, and fans weren't much better off. A famous interchange with a fan goes something like this. The fan tells Bonds he's been trying to get his autograph for years. Bonds' reply, "No, I want you to keep your streak active." On another occasion, a 12-year-old asked him to sign a card. Bonds ripped it in two. After he turned 51 in 2016, Bonds apologized. "We've got to give him that. It's on me," he said. He ended his long apology by saying he was a total dumbass.
Right now, is there a message you'd like to send out to him?
Why are we in that conversation?
Looking around, there's a lot of people.
Just another negative question. I'm not going to get into that.
Danny?
Cam Newton's net worth is estimated to be in the region of $45 million. In 2012, he made an appearance at a North Carolina mall. Get this, he charged his throngs of fans $125 to sign an autograph. If they wanted a football signed, the price went up to $150, and getting a jersey signed set his fans back $175. It doesn't stop there, though. If a fan wanted a personal message included with the autograph, it cost an additional $50. Newton has also taken plenty of heat for making sexist jabs. Reporters were his favorite targets for these.
Like the prodigal son, he's returned, he's got energy, he's got juice, and it's so contagious, you can feel it here in this stadium. I'm so excited.
Former Major League Baseball outfielder and designated hitter Jose Canseco often threatened his fans, and even their dogs. Canseco was an unapologetic steroid puppy. He went as far as to advocate for the stuff. Granted, this was in a different era, but still, he claimed that steroids, when used correctly, make you both sexier and stronger. In short, he told the world steroids were good for general health. In reality, athletes on steroids are doing nothing but throwing a fat middle finger to the world, and of course their fans. Canseco went a few steps further though. He hurled profanities at his fans, and he charged kids for his autograph. One time he threatened to bash a fan's head in, and he occasionally sent his twin brother to sign autographs for him. Talk about a jerk.
I did one time, and it was in the Las Vegas Home Run Challenge. I think it was 2000. The first Las Vegas Home Run Challenge they had in the night, it was 2000. And I remember,
with a name like Meta World Peace, one would think someone would be all about, well, peace. This wasn't the case for NBA player Ron Artest. Yes, he was known as Ron Artest until 2011. The infamous Malice at the Palace was one of the low points in the history of the NBA. It was a brawl, nothing else. And it started when a fan threw something at him. Some say it was a cup. Artest lost it completely. He ran into the stands and promptly tackled the fan. It was bad enough that the surrounding spectators had to restrain him, but Steven Jackson had followed Artest into the stands. He got into the action, throwing a roundhouse at another fan. Then more players joined the free-for-all. Fans started throwing punches and bottles, pretty much anything they could get their hands on. The Pacers had to hightail it out of there. 9 players ended up being suspended, and Artest lost out on the rest of the season. Some say he's calmed down since. Who knows?
It's awful. Fans are getting involved. Steven Jackson's in the fans.
Opinions of Tiger Woods vary. Some call him the greatest guy on the golf course. Many say he's an outright a-hole. Examples of his bad behavior are way too many to list. He was famously rude to the staff at a small airport, and he was a jerk to none other than Bill Clinton, too. Woods is famous for ignoring his fans as if they don't exist, even when those fans are kids, throwing fist bumps after Tiger, who played a great shot. Then some athletes say up front they don't care about fans. Imagine that.
As far as the second part of your question about the players who have chosen to go to live and to play on
Brian Urlacher, the linebacker, is one. No pretending to be nice. Nada. He just doesn't care. Someone once asked him if the media and fans might criticize Lovie Smith after a 21-13 loss to the Packers. Urlacher lost it. He said, "Two of the people I don't care about, fans or media." He followed that up with a rant about fans and reporters never knowing what they were talking about. It's possible that Urlacher spoke more from frustration than anything else. He ran his mouth about his dislike for fans several times, but he never developed a reputation as a fan hater.
Hey Brian, just talk about coming back and giving back. You know, you brought this camp back every year, and no matter how big you get, you're always here for the kids.
It's 10th year. I can't believe it. You know, it's been a fun thing for me to come back and do this every single year.
John McEnroe, say no more. He just seemed to hate everyone, not just fans. If you're really a star athlete, you'll probably want to be remembered for your game, and then for all the other stuff. But mention the name of John McEnroe, and you'll probably hear what a jerk he was first, and then about the quality of his tennis. McEnroe was volatile, on and off the court. He often directed his temper at his fans. Looking back at news coverage of his playing days, almost as much time is dedicated to his tantrums as is to his tennis. He insulted the French, publicly agreeing with a renegade fan that you can't trust the frogs. He told a German fan to leave and get some sauerkraut. And then there was the time when he told a German African he didn't know there were black people in Germany. And the guy was a linesman, by the way. Nice guy, wouldn't you say?
Very much so, okay? And I was simply calling her on an NPR, which supposedly you're supposed to, this is where you can say it like it.
Baseball player Albert Bell, famously linked to throwing things at his fans. He got heckled by a fan about his alcohol problem in 1991. He threw a baseball at the guy and it struck him in the chest. Look, it wasn't cool that he was being heckled about his alcohol problem after just finishing a stint in rehab, but still, Bell's atrocious behavior stretched back to his college days. Back then he was suspended because he chased a fan through the stands during a game. Again, the fan had heckled him. He also thrashed a bathroom once, simply because the game one day was disappointing. When he made an obscene gesture at fans in 1997, he ended up being fined $5,000. Bell wasn't an occasional jerk.
Albert is called Mr. Freeze for a reason. At one time, I thought Albert was a woman because I thought he had menopause. He was always so hot all the time. I thought he was in menopause all the time.
He was the real deal all the time. Floyd Mayweather is known to be an ass to his fans, but then he's also known to just not be nice in general. Bear in mind, the guy's a boxer, so beating up people is his thing. The unwritten rules say you don't beat up on someone who isn't a boxer or a fighter, but Mayweather didn't pay much attention to this. Apparently, he was famous for picking up his fists at his romantic partners. He always has a mouthful to say about how much he loves his fans, but his actions tell a different story. He said, for instance, he would never give Africa a dime because Africa has never done anything for him. And then in 2016, when a fan asked for a picture with him, Mayweather had this to say: "How would you like it if I asked to take a picture of you and your wife on vacation?" Then he pumped his fist and threatened to F the guy up. Perhaps it would have been easier to say, "No thank you, not now." What a great role model you are for the kids, Floyd. This is but a small excerpt from the imaginary list of athletes that generally treat their fans like crap. Strange how some athletes forget that their fans lift them to the top. It isn't only their game. We'll catch you in the next video.
I think this is an interesting fight just because it's different than any other fight that's come before it. But this is something that's painted on